Alright guys, so you guys should hear that music, and you know what that means? It means it's time for some epic Brood War action. Spawning here on the bottom left as the red Protoss will be none other than the Wallace. Overdoses Wallace, I believe. I believe when I was casting Clan League Season 20, that name popped up, Overdoses Wallace. Pretty active on Overdose, I believe. And spawning on the bottom right is the White Terran. It will be none other than Action, which I've never heard of. So, now I'm updating that overlay. Let's figure out how it goes. Listen to some awesome music right here. The first map's going to be played on Jade. Remember, there is a reverse ramp that can play, Cutie, oh no, Action Overdose? Yeah, it sounds familiar, actually. So, Action's from Overdose as well. I'm assuming Wallace is actually the leader of Overdose then, because it says My Clan. But, anyway. Wallace as the red. We're gonna get that back game music going on. And Wallace, what are you doing right there? And we're gonna update the map because it's so important. So Lion is the main leader. It's the leader of Overdose. Alright. Alright, so without further ado, Jade, again, reverse ramp can definitely hurt Terran in some ways. Again, he did put the depot here. If Wallace sees sight of that, he may send over Initial Zealot because it would be pretty difficult in general for Wallace to really deal with this. For Action, to really deal with an Initial Zealot pressure because the micro would be so intense. I'm sure he would at least get a couple Marine kills, probably a couple SCV kills from that. And we're going to have a Nexus first build. Okay, so Wallace is actually not going to be able to do anything. So it's just going to go to Nexus first. Interesting. And generally, I don't think Terran would be super aggressive anyway. He would die, Wallace would die outright from this decision if there was some kind of cheese, but unless Action, Action could still be able potentially to do a bunker rush on this, and it would work. And would have to force a cancel on it, which could have been actually the right decision right there. He saw Nexus first. The YouTube links are not available right now. They have not been uploaded. I have all the files on my computer, and we have to wait for them. They'll be uploaded within the 24 hours, I swear. And okay, well, he's gonna bunker rush, but you want to bunker rush up closer to the Nexus. Oh. Well, I guess it's an attempt anyway. So you definitely, in this case, Action had this base could have been killed off, for sure. But due to the pylon placement, I still think the bunker could have gone up. But I guess the Marines probably couldn't have been rallied over there fast enough. Whatever. I'm just saying it's a potentiality for that happening. And also, just to note, it's the reverse ramp, which is kind of the reason also why Action has decided to put the bunker and depot up here, or the second depot rather, because you want to be able to defend the high ground. You don't want to get contained by goons, which is why Nudie in game one GG'd super quickly, like sub 4 minutes. Is ridiculous. Just because his front door is broken down, he had no high ground building to help defend. He had no bunker. You normally place a bunker around here and do a normal siege span. Would probably be the best economic build. You can do 2 facts on this map. You can do an FD push. But I personally would never do a 1-base build, probably, on a reverse ramp map. I would always want to get the high ground vision and just play it extra safe, probably. Anyway. Well, 4 Marines are making their way over here. The first zealot's on the way, but if he can kite well, he can kill off a couple probes right here. Those Marines are gonna die. Yeah. That was poor control. That was poor control by Wallace, by Action, excuse me. And so sad. Well, the Marine will get in there, verify tech. Things will probably just go off from normal tech path from Protoss. Pretty much what you could expect is that this would be take this build order, minus like a minute, and this is where you would probably be as Protoss. And then from there, except there's a Nexus up. So it's pretty much a Nexus first build, but everything is going to be the same. It's just going to have a stronger economy. In Terran Action can have a little weaker of economy, as Wallace got away with the Nexus first build, which probably could have been killed off with a bunker rush, but just took a while to think that through. So yeah, he's getting up 2 factories now, so he's going to start tank production, which will definitely help. Now, I don't know if Action's going to be more of a aggressive Terran that we've seen a lot of. These C-rank Terrans have been doing a lot more really, really, really aggressive 2-base timings that just are not working in the Protoss. Not one game has it worked, I don't think. The only time in early pressure from Terran has really worked in the Protoss was a 2-fact versus that Nudie did against Splax. So that's the only thing I would see, but I mean, it is a 2-factory, but it's too late to do anything. Still have to see, and this is probably where Terran will also probably just take a 3rd base from here. This ramp is pretty easy to secure. It's a lot larger than you would have in Fighting Spirits. It's a little bit more harder to hold off, but you do have the high ground vantage point as well, and there's a simple ramp to defend. Protoss, though, generally speaking, Protosses don't like to expand Terran. They like to expand away from, and that's probably why they'll probably take this base to follow it up with, or a base over here. But I expect this base is probably taken. He can try to be a ballsy and take this base. I mean, it is kind of out of the way in some aspects, because like you still have to go here, and then you have to go down. It is shorter distance, though. I mean, it's barely slightly difference, but you are expanding to your opponent nonetheless. So you might not want to do that. Getting back into this game now, though, we have a pylon going down as well. Double upgrade, so he's going to be able to allow vultures. It looks like, definitely speaking, that maybe he might throw down additional factories from this point on, get a lot of vultures out, get on the map. Probably the reason why he's getting double upgrades. Also because, you know, they're pretty good upgrades in general. Spider Mines are never a bad thing. They provide vision for your Terran player. As there isn't, if StarCraft 2 people, you don't have Zelnaga towers to defend. Turrets are kind of your main vision. And you kind of want to hold all your scans for Arbiter tech, because you want to be able to take those engagements well. Because sometimes you A, won't have science vessels out, or B, they might get sniped off. So, all right. So what are we seeing in terms of tech though from Wallace right here? He's up to 4 gateways. He's getting his robo out. So no clear tech path quite yet. He's still kind of building up his main infrastructure of his army, of his tech rather. So we'll see if he's going to go for quick arbiters. He'd probably already throw it on the Stargate if he'd like to do that. And I don't think it's going to be a 2-base all-in with a lot of gateways, as there'll probably be a lot more gateways out. Looking at the Harvester count, 36 down to 40 at the moment. So there's a slight economic lead for Action right here. Action is putting down a CC, a very fast CC, I'll have you know. And we might see that these goons, though, if they get over to this area, they would be in the perfect position to really snipe that off. I've seen it so many times today in the 9 hours of casting, and it probably will check for a 3rd base, too. I mean, this is around the time Terran will take that 3rd base. And there's really nothing to defend it. I mean, well, he's actually going to go pushing the natural here. I really don't agree with this, but he will have Zealot bombing available to himself as an ability. He's going to evacuate the Marines, trying to kill off the shuttle, but the Zealot bombing has been effective. We'll clean up the rest of the tanks right here. He doesn't even care. He's kind of caught out of position here as he's been expanding at the same time right now. SCV's going to be pulled up the line here, and it looks like he should be able to defend this. He'll lose SCVs in the progress, but the SCVs are really good against goons. And he'll get tanks in there. That tank, though, is exposed. That tank's very exposed. Please repair that in time. Oh, that's jerk right there. He just dropped them right on there. Wow. With these more reinforcing SCVs, though, with goons, things are looking a little bad for Action right now. I would definitely say that. He's going to hold off to take the 3rd base right there. But that is in range, though, if he decides to go check up there. That CC's in range. He's elevating himself into the main base right now, and he's now in the production. And this is what you would call all in from Wallace, probably. He's still pumping up a 4 gateways. He's letting his macros slip. He could take an expo behind this, or he should just put down more gateways. At this point, Wallace has 2 decisions: take down an expo or put down more gateways. But he's not. He's doing neither right now, which is something he really needs to be doing. If he's desperate to kill off his opponent, then that's fine, but put down more gateways so you can overrun your opponent, in this predicament at least. Anyway, he'll be pushing in here again, turrets, but I think Action's on the verge of breaking, though. I don't think he's going to have the economy to really keep this up, or the production right now. He's trying a new wave of back in, so a new wave is almost done. find out. But with that shuttle still being active right now, man, it's gonna be tough. It looks like he's trying to expand up here, but there was a spider mine for both locations. And back at home base, though, what are we seeing from Tech? 4 more gateways are going down, so he is going to my advice right now. A little more delay. He's starting to get leg speed done, which is probably something that would have definitely helped him right now. And, wow. Well, it looks like the push has been dealt with, and if all of a sudden Wallace decides to step back for a second, that third base can go up. And that's going to give Action a really nice economic lead, as it hasn't been spotted yet. At the same time, though, we have a third base, though. Wallace is actually going to be expanding to his opponent this time. Not something that I usually see that Protosses do. Not saying it's terrible. I generally probably wouldn't want to expand to my opponent. This scenario where this ramp is so easy to defend, I probably would in this case. But. And do we have science vessels out yet? I mean, we're getting close to Arbiter Tech. He's getting Templar Archives, also probably for DTs and High Templar in that route, but also it also goes to teching to Arbiter Tribunal. If you didn't know, Arbiter Tribunal requires Templar Archives and Stargate Tech in order to put it down. You don't need a fleet beacon. 96 supply, 285, 0 upgrades for both players. And I'm wondering if the Harvesters, I'm wondering if Wallace has actually cut pros here. No, they're about dead even. Harvesters. Only one SCV in the lead. Starting to get down the forge. There goes down the Stargate. So it looks like he might hit around that 12:30 timing, at least for the Arbiter Tribunal, probably. Not quite the Arbiter itself, but he's been a little bit preoccupied. Again, circumstances of the match have kind of prolonged stuff, especially because Wallace's macro was slipping quite a bit. Anyway. Alright, so still no, I mean, the issue that we're seeing for Wallace right now is he's on the on the same equal basing as Action is, and it gets progressively more difficult to take this on off of 3 base. Generally, why Protosses would probably say take more expansions than your Terran opponent, because sometimes they're a little bit more inactive. They're probably one of the more inactive races in a matchup. Now, of course, you can have aggressive Terrans, and we've had 2 base timing pushes, and of course, there's Vulture run-bys and all that fun stuff. I'm just saying, generally speaking, it's kind of hard to be very active with a mech army because it's so immobile. And once you lose that third base, it's really, really hard to keep that up. I always think you can click on that little object right there, but you can't. Some Speed Vultures are going to try to make their way in here, and there's a kind of a nice SimCity kind of wall thing right there. Don't really know what to call it. Look at that patrol micro right there. It's a little redundant with the speed, but it's kind of cool, though. It makes it look up, it's showing off right there. Yeah. Arbiter Tech is coming up. And look at that. About a minute delayed, but still. He's still getting it up. 12:30. All that nice timings. Getting Storm now. That's a more delayed Storm than I'm used to. But he's off of 8 gates, I believe. Probably wants to take a 4th base soon, though, for sure. I don't think he can... You generally don't want to be out of the same production unless you can really, really micro your units really, really well against tanks, which is very difficult. Oh, by the way, Xiphon StarCraft. I have something that I found that's very entertaining for iPad. If you get the HDMI cable for it, you can actually watch Twitch.tv in like 1080p on your TV screen. It's really awesome. 148 supply down to 170. So I mean, Wallace has a lead at this point. And generally, we've seen Protosses actually will probably win at this point, generally. Probably because the tank spread isn't really that great, and the Vultures are actually behind, which is an issue. But... I don't know. I mean, the macro of Action has been pretty on par. I mean, look how many factories he's off of. I'm not sure if he can produce out of them ideally, but he's off of probably, what, 8 factories? 7 factories. 2 of which have the add-on. And I believe he's going to be starting to get science facility. I believe he started... Yeah, I know he has a... Yep, there it is. Science vessel, I believe that might be the first one. All right, we have an engagement happening over here. Was that the first science vessel? Was I wrong? That was the first science vessel that popped out. So, does he have EMP available? No, he does not. He doesn't have EMP research. Let's check for that building. Not being researched right now. Which, when this clumped up, you want an EMP now. And if his stasis goes off on that ball, that is not going to be great. Those tanks are not spread in any way, and there is enough for stasis. Does he have the upgrade though? That's kind of another important aspect as well. Where did that go? Anyway, now let's look at the upgrade piece. I'm trying to figure it. I think he has recall. He doesn't have stasis. That's a shame. He's not going to have stasis for this battle. Unless it just morphs in. I'm trying to catch it. Stasis actually will morph in like at the last second possible. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. This is not good. You don't want Terran to get this high ground advantage. This is one of the. Well, this is probably the one of the other main characteristics other than fighting spirit this map has. It does have a high ground advantage on the in the middle of the map. We do have a 4th base up for Wallace, so that will increase its production quite a bit. Probably off around 12, 15 gateways. Just double check that. Because I think it's important at least. He's off of 11 gates. So not the best, but anyway, we're going in here. And he's pushing up a high ground. The Zealots are trying to get in the front. There isn't a lot of goons. And the Zealots are just evaporating so quickly. And again, the absolute importance of Vultures, not only that they buffer damage, but they also kill off the Zealots really quickly. We do have a recall in the main base. Thank you for calling that out, Poet. Oh, that's not Poet. Someone called it. I don't really know. But we have a nice recall. I was wondering why that army was so small. And we're going to have a base trade right now. Oh, wow. He's actually killing a lot of the production of action right here. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Whoever called it out, I don't know who said recall, but action is... This recall is doing a lot of damage. It's killing off all the production. And that's a big blunder. Oh, he can't get in. That's a nice stasis right there. He can't get in. He can't get in the main base. All he can do is get the units that come out of the production, but they're just going to die instantaneously. And that might be the deciding... It's going to be a huge deciding factor. Because if he can't reinforce, he loses all his production. If he loses his mech army, not only is it difficult to recreate, it's very difficult to recreate if you don't have production. And it's not like he has a whole other main base. It looks like he's going to be starting reproduction up in the top right. And we might see another long recreation of Terran that we saw from the latter game. I forget what it was. I forget what it was. Curiosity versus 64, I believe. 64 came back on Ground Zero, and or Neo Ground Zero, whatever it's called, and came back just from like a 1 base and got built up like 200 army. Took about 35 minutes, but that's might what happened here because you really want to stop Terran from really kind of establishing a main base in one of the corners of the map. They will bunker in very hard. Save if he loses everything. I mean, he can rebuild it all back at home. And put down the Expos. He has enough tanks. He can just go back home and turtle. And I think that might be the best option. I don't know why he's putting... I don't like that here. The shuttle does verify that this stuff is coming here, but if he can get those tanks back home in the top right, he should be in an okay position. Can bunker in. That's what he might be trying to do. Might be trying to regroup, but that is another big army of +2-1 upgraded armies. Even Stasis 6-3 more tanks right here compared to the 2-2 upgrades here. These things are completely spread out. Those Spider-Mons are going to be deadly, not to Wallace, but to Action. And Action's not be able to get those units there, especially now with Sneak Pincer attack. You can't get them out of the main base. Nice EMP going down as well. Get, I think, a good amount of them. Maybe not actually. I guess it looked good. Maybe not. But it looked it looked cooler than it actually did. But yeah, gonna clean it up right here. And very well played by Wallace. He had a bad macroing slump, and then he was able to come back and pretty much just really do well against Action. Wow. GG. All right, cool. 20-minute game. It's a nice game. It was the correct time to GG too, which is kind of the important thing to note. All right, people on YouTube. So game 1 will be going down to Wallace. Congratulations to him. We're gonna go to our next game. It might be our last game of the night. Who knows? But for your VOD users, you don't really care, do you? All right.